So right now we'll be discussing the discussions about the lower alimentary tract, small intestines hanggang sa anus na to, no? Okay? And again, review of systems tayo, medyo pagka-objective yung discussion, medyo involves a lot of topic actually, no? A lot of discussions, okay? Including yung biliary functioning, tsaka including information ng RBC and so on and so RBC, information of bile, no? Na madalas na-involve yung RBC. Now with that, let's talk about now, okay, the small intestines. What is that? It starts at pyloric sphincter and ends at ileocecal junction. Yun yung small intestines. Whereas, okay, is about 20 feet by length and 1 inch by diameter. No? So, in other words, okay, siya yung pinakamaliit, pinakamanipis na part ng small ng ating GI tract. No? Kaya dyan madalas nagkakaroon ng obstruction, no? Okay, mga bulate lang na nagkukumpulan, pwede na magkaroon ng problem sa small intestine. So with that, ano yung divisions niya? Unang-una, duodenum. Duodenum, where pancreatic enzymes and bile from the liver enter the small intestine. By the way, duodenum has the pyloric, as the what? Sphincter of Oddi, na na-mention natin kanina, no? Okay, and the sphincter of Oddi is the gateway, no? Yung pinaka-gate from the alimentary tract to the small intestines, no? Yun yung gate from the alimentary tract to the small intestines, yung tinatawag na duodenum actually, which is the sphincter of Oddi. And by the way, jejunum is the middle part, and ileum is the terminal end na nakakonekta sa large intestines. Now with that, okay, ano yung mga physiology? Sige, review ng konti guys, no? From the top ng kanina, sa mouth, anong klaseng digestion nga? Mechanical and chemical. One more time, in the mouth, okay, we had mechanical and chemical. Bakit mechanical? Yung teeth natin nag-grind ng food. Na chemical kasi may mayroong tinatawag na salivary amylase. Alright, okay. In the meantime, sa stomach purely mechanical, gagawin lang niya is durugin yung hindi na kaya ng mouth, no? Okay. In the meantime, sa small intestines guys, purely chemical digestion na. So again, mouth is mechanical and chemical. Stomach purely mechanical. Pag sinabing small intestines now, is purely chemical digestion. Okay. So yun yung site, it's a site of chemical digestion, okay, and also the site of absorption, no, through the villi, microvilli, saka circular folds. So by the way, everything happens, every absorption happens in the small intestines, no? Wala sa stomach, kundi sa small intestines. Actually, lahat ng nutrients are to be absorbed except for few na dun sa large intestines na absorb. Okay? In this case, therefore, we have to discuss now the chemicals involved in chemical digestion. So, ano yung mga chemicals are the following. Unang-una, okay, and ang amylase, no, which na-mention ko, starchy foods or carbohydrates. Kaya I told you a while ago that the first nutrient to be digested is carbohydrates kasi kailangan mo ng amylase sa mouth. Yung hindi kinaya ng mouth, for example, diretso sa intestines, kailangan mo ng pancreatic amylase. They have the same purpose, carbs yan or starchy foods. However, the enzymes now, which I mentioned kanina, yung trypsin, no? Okay, yung trypsin, the enzyme, ito yung tinatawag na trypsin. Okay, anong ginawa nga niya? Trypsin combined with pepsinogen to form pepsin. Remember, to break protein peptides. And I told you, yung peptides, pupunta saan yan? It will go to the liver for the process of catabolism. Susundan natin mamaya yan sa liver, no? Okay? Also, have pancreatic lipase, which breaks lipids, no? So, lipase only breaks lipids, kasi ang kailangan talaga doon, yung tinatawag na bile. Okay? Yung triglycerides now are the broken fats, actually, which enters as fat globules. Problema, globules are actually non-soluble, no? Yung fat globules, diba yung mantika or any forms of oil or fat, pag nilagay mo sa water, it will actually separate, no? Non-soluble. So, anong kailangan daw? Kailangan ng bile salts coming from the liver for emulsification processes, no? Okay, so discuss natin yan. Again, kailangan ng bile salts for emulsification process. Therefore, kailangan ma-involve, kailangan ma-discuss yung bile na agad ngayon, no? Anong involved dyan? Organs like liver, gallbladder, at saka yung ating small intestine, no? Okay, with that, let's talk about the tinatawag na biliary system. Let's focus here and have a visual here. Okay, tinatawag na biliary system, no? So, ano yung mga parts na kailangan maalala? Una-una yung liver. Again, this is the entire biliary system, no? Okay, so yung mga parts na affected, this is the liver here. Liver yan. Ito yung tinatawag na intrahepatic ducts. Again, this is the liver here. Now, these are the intrahepatic ducts. Ito yung common hepatic ducts. Again, liver yan. These are the intrahepatic ducts. Ito yung common hepatic duct. Yung common hepatic duct, nakadugtong sa cystic duct. Okay, saan naman yan nakakonect? Sa gallbladder yan. Now, pag nagdugtungan yung cystic duct, tsaka common hepatic duct, yun yung common bile duct, no? Ito yung famous nating alam, yung common bile duct. Now, common bile duct, no, connected saan? I will merge. Dudugtong sa may pancreatic duct, galing sa pancreas, and they form the ampulla of Vater, and both of them will pass through, yun na yun, no? The sphincter of Oddi. Ito yung na-mention natin sa discussion ng first part ng GI, yung sphincter of Oddi, na it's the gate between, it's the gate of the accessory organs, no? gate na accessory organs, meaning the liver, gallbladder, tsaka pancreas to the main alimentary tract. Kaya ang discussion ng Billroth 1, Billroth 2 pala, Billroth 2 is gastrojejunostomy at tsaka ng subtotal gastrectomy, laging iniiwan yung duodenum. Why? It has a sphincter of Oddi. Kasi pag tinanggal mo yung duodenum, di tinanggal mo yung sphincter of Oddi, walang dadaanan yung secretions ng gallbladder, ng liver, tsaka ng pancreas. Review ng concept. Now, I'm discussing to you the biliary system, although hindi pa dyan kasama dapat yung pancreas, ha? So once again, okay. So ito yung liver, yan. Now these are the intrahepatic ducts. Ito yung common hepatic duct. Ng common hepatic duct will dudugtong saan? Sa cystic duct connected sa gallbladder to form the common bile duct. Now, common bile duct now will actually merge with the pancreatic duct. Pag nag-merge silang dalawa, they will go out both in what? Sphincter of Oddi. Okay, so nasaan yan? Sa duodenum, which serves as the gateway of the biliary system. So yun yung ating parts of our biliary system, no? Now, paano gagana yan? Bakit na muna discuss yan, sir? Kasi nga, we'll be tackling off the bile salts, no? Yung bile, importante for what? Emulsification, no? Okay? Emulsification of fats, yung processing ng fats. So, discuss natin ngayon, okay, yung biliary system na yan, no? Yung paano gumagana. Now, ang pag-uusapan, yung production ng bile actually, no? So, ganito yan, guys, no? Okay? Now, let me start from the start. In fact, matatakal dito yung concept ng hematology, no? Now, ang RBC has a lifespan of 90 to 120 days. So, review ng konti, guys, ha? Okay? RBC ito, ang lifespan niya again, 90 up to 120 days. Na after 120 days maximum, sisirain siya ng dalawang organs, which are liver and spleen. Na pag nasira yung dalawang yan, ay yung nasira yung liver, no. Pag sinira ng liver tsaka spleen yan, okay, actually it's that, anong mangyayari is that masisira yung RBC, right? Anong lalabas na component? Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin na maghahati ng hemo tsaka globin. Okay? Na discussion ng hema, let's recall the concept, no? RBC lifespan 90 to 120 days. Anong gaganang organ sa kanya para sirain siya? Liver tsaka spleen. Okay, that's liver tsaka spleen actually, and that, okay, pag nangyari yan, lalabas ng hemoglobin, no? Hemoglobin na maghahati ng hemo tsaka globin. Yung globin part again, babalik sa blood ulit to be used by a new hemoglobin. Used by new hemoglobin, okay? Yung hemoglobin, now hemo now, it's known as the heme, no? Okay, yung heme ngayon will mix with iron. Will mix with iron and plasma biliverdin. Mix with iron saka plasma biliverdin. Pag nagsama-sama yung tatlong yan, okay, heme plus iron plus plasma biliverdin, okay, they will form what we call as the unconjugated bilirubin. Again, heme plus iron plus plasma biliverdin is what we call now as the unconjugated bilirubin. Ang tawag sa kanya, unconjugated bilirubin. Okay? Yung combination ng heme, iron, tsaka plasma biliverdin, no? Okay? So, what will happen then? Okay? What will happen then there? Actually, yung anong color niyan? Dark yellow ang kanyang color, no? Na, saan pupunta yan? Okay? It will go to the liver for the process of conjugation para maging ano siya, conjugated bilirubin na major component of the bile. Okay? So, babalikan ko to sa itong discussion na to. Gawa tayong sariling drawing, no? Tulungan niyo ako. Actually, just appreciate my drawing. Yun yung kaya niyo itulong, no? So, review ng konti, guys, no? Okay? So, example, ito, ano nga ito? Example, ito yung liver. Basta liver yan, huwag kayong magulo, no? Okay. Liver ang tawag dyan. Now, we have the intrahepatic ducts, no? Intrahepatic ducts, okay? Now, we have the common hepatic duct muna. Hindi muna common bala, common hepatic duct. Silagyan ko yan, common hepatic duct. Ito yung tinatawag na cystic duct connected saan? Sa gallbladder. Now, therefore, okay, both of them now will pass through they will form the common bile duct ngayon, no? This common bile duct na ngayon, this is CBD, common bile duct, nadudugtong naman saan? Pancreatic duct. Naku, napunta yung CBD doon. Wala, this is the common bile duct here. Ito siya, ha? Oops. Ito yung common bile duct, pag nagdugtungan yan, ito yung tinatawag na pancreatic duct, no? Teka lang, okay? Ito yung tinatawag na pancreatic duct. Ulitin ko, okay. Ito yung tinatawag na pancreatic duct naman. Ito yon, nabura ko siya. Ito yung pancreatic duct. Now, pag yung dalawang yan, pag nag-merge sila, nagdugtungan silang dalawa, ito yung tinatawag na ampulla of Vater, no? And eventually, it will pass out through what? The tinatawag na sphincter of Oddi going to the duodenum, no? Okay. So, sana ma-appreciate nyo siya. No? Basta ganyan siya. Okay. Yan yung biliary system natin, no? Okay. So, ulit. ulitin ko lang. Okay. So, again. Okay. So, ito yung liver. Intrahepatic ducts, common hepatic duct, ito cystic duct, gallbladder, common bile duct, pancreatic duct. Ito yung sphincter of Oddi. Ito yung duodenum. Yan siya. Okay? Yun yung ating parts actually of our system, no? Okay? A biliary system. Now, again, okay, what will happen then? Okay? So from the start, no? From here, I mean that nagsama-sama yung heme, yung iron, tsaka plasma bilirubin. Together they form, what again? Unconjugated bilirubin. Anong color niya? Dark yellow. Pakitandaan ha yung color. Dark yellow ang color niya. Now, therefore, saan pupunta yan? Sa liver nga, for the process of conjugation. Therefore, yung conjugated bilirubin, unconjugated muna, sorry. Okay? Yung unconjugated bilirubin na dark yellow, okay, that's dark yellow by color, ay magiging ano? Magiging conjugated bilirubin, which is actually light yellow na. Light yellow by color, and by the way, this is the major component of bile. So again, magiging siyang major component ng bile, which is a point of discussion now. Now, the liver can produce ilan? 700 to 1,000 cc of bile every day. Once again, okay? Yung liver natin can produce how much again? 900 to 1,000, 700, sorry, this 700, the bile, 700 to 1,000 cc of bile every 24 hours. So, yung purpose, ay yung capability ng liver to produce bile of 700 to 1,000 cc every 24 hours. That's every day, na? However, kalahati niyan, guys, dito muna pupunta. 50% sa may gallbladder. Anong purpose? Number 1, storage. Number 2, concentration. First, storage. Number 2, concentration. So pag tinanong ka, anong physiology ng gallbladder lang? Storage and concentration of bile is the purpose of the gallbladder. Therefore, yung kalahati saan pumunta, guys? Tumuloy dun sa small intestines, na sa duodenum. Okay? So, approximately 350 to 500 cc napunta sa may duodenum. Anong purpose yan ngayon? Now, yung next topic now, okay, is actually a repeated topic from other discussion. Kasi 90% yan, guys. Sige, 90%, 90%. Lumampas. 90% ng dito sa galing sa duodenum, no? 90% of that will be used for fat emulsification. Now, what is fat emulsification again? Conversion of fats. Okay, emulsification dapat yan. That's emulsification. Okay, conversion of fats to become fatty acids. Inuulit ko, okay? Pag sinabing fat emulsification again, conversion of fats to become fatty acids. Na pag fatty acids na, anong roles ng fatty acids natin? Unang-una, to transport the ADEC, to transport the fat-soluble vitamins or ADEC transport. Pangalawang role niya, guys, to what? Build the adipose tissue, build the adipose tissue is the next role of the fatty acids. So again, ulitin ko, 90% ng production actually ginamit for fat emulsification. It converted fats to become fatty acids. Now, pag fatty acids na, anong roles na niya? Number 1, to transport the fat-soluble vitamins. Kaya naman tinawag silang fat-soluble vitamins. They use fatty acids to be transported. Pangalawang role niya, to build the adipose tissues. Pag sobrang dami, nagiging built-in salbabida, di ba? And pangatlo, number 3 there, okay, is to stimulate the adrenal cortex. Stimulate the adrenal cortex to release what? The sex hormones, which are, pag lalaki, androgen, pag babae, progesterone, tsaka estrogen. So, this androgen, progesterone, tsaka estrogen. Okay? However, 90%, yan. Meron pang naiwang 10%, which is equally important, no? Okay? And it will be interesting for us, actually. By the way, again, okay, we are discussing about the conjugated now, naging form na naging part ng bile, di ba? And again, I'm telling you that, anong color na unconjugated? Dark yellow. Pero kapag conjugated siya, light yellow by color. Have that in mind, no? Okay. Now, part ng, therefore, yung 90% ginamit for what again? Fat emulsification. Conversion of fats to become fatty acids. Okay. Therefore, may naiwan. Ilan? 10%. Okay, may naiwan na 10%. Yung 10% ngayon, saan gagamitin? Inuulit ko yan, yung 10% saan gagamitin? Okay. Well, iiba dyan pupunta saan? Sa large intestines. What will happen then? Sa large intestines, the bile will meet the E. coli. Importante note to, bile will meet the E. coli. Pag nag-meet yung bile tsaka E. coli, they'll form two vitamins C and K, which is then absorbed in the large intestines. So, yun yung importance na, Again, okay. Large intestines now, the bile will meet the E. coli. What will happen there? Okay. Pag nag-meet yung bile tsaka E. coli, they'll form vitamin C and K. Kaya nga, just a recall of our concept that ang bata pag pinanganak, we inject vitamin K. Again, okay. Pag ang bata pinanganak, actually, you inject vitamin K. Why is that so? Kasi ang bata pinanganak, wala pang E. coli, sterile pa ang kanyang large intestines, na? Inuulit ko, ang bata pag pinanganak, ini-injectan ng vitamin K. Bakit nga? Pag pinanganak siya, wala pa siyang E. coli. Wala pa siyang sariling vitamin K. Okay? Therefore, kailangan mo muna injectan hanggang magdede siya, hanggang mag-produce yung sariling E. coli niya, no? Okay? However, part of that pa rin, 10%, no? Part ng 10% pa rin, saan pupunta? General circulation. Importante ito, guys, General circulation. Therefore, what will happen then? Pupunta yung bile saan? In areas like eyes, saan pa? Skin, saan pa? Sa urine. So, eyes, skin, and urine, yung pupuntahan ng bile na yan. Okay? So, importante ba yun? Yes. Kaya pansinin mo yung S-clear na natin, yung ating mata, anong kulay niya? Clear white or off-white? Off-white. May konting yellow kasi siya. Hindi siya clear white, hindi puting-puti, kundi may pagka-off-white yung kanyang color, di ba? Na pangalawa, okay? Yung ating skin, syempre sa katulad kong maitim, di mo makikita yan. Pero yung mga maiitim, okay? Mapuputian mo, patutukan mo ng ilaw, no? Anong color nila? Para silang yellowish, no? Dahil nakikita pati yung light yellow color. However, okay? Yung urine, kitang-kita mo yan. Anong color ng urine? Amber or straw, may konting yellow siya. Importante ba yan? Yes, may importante ang bile sa eyes, skin, tsaka urine. Bakit meron silang antibody properties, no? Like ito na lang, example, okay? Nagkaroon tayo ng sore eyes, no? Nagkaroon tayo ng conjunctivitis, nagkakamuta tayo, di ba? Anong understanding? Bakit? Okay, nung nagka-bacteria or virus ka sa mata, anong ginawa ng bile? Pinuntahan yung mata para i-bind yung mga pathogens, no? Nung na-bind sila, lumalabas as muta. Kaya ang color ng muta, light yellow. Kasi meron siyang konting bile as a protection for our ears, no? Okay? Kaya I think I mentioned this already that like kaya ibang tao actually yung ihi nila, yung pag may sore eyes nilalagyan ng ihi yung kanilang eyes, no? Kasi may konting bile yung ihi. Pero that outweighs the importance kasi maraming waste product ng urine, no? Okay? Yun yung mga parts na yun. So ulitin ko ha. From the start, yung unconjugated bilirubin, saan galing nga to? Sa break ng RBC. Anong color niya? Dark yellow para maging siya, light yellow color ng conjugated, the major component of bile. Pag bile siya, ilan nga kayang produce? 700 to 1,000 every 24 hours. Where 50% goes where? Small intestines. Duodenum. Ato muna, sa gallbladder muna. Gallbladder muna yung 50%. Lagyan ko ng title siya. Lagyan ko ng pangalan. This is the gallbladder here. 50% goes to our gallbladder. What for? Storage and concentration of bile. And half of it goes to our small intestines. Now, pag nasa small intestine siya, anong gagawin niya doon? 90% ginagamit for what again? Fat emulsification. Yung topic natin this time, no? Okay, that's fat emulsification actually. And that, anong gagawin niya? It will convert fats to become fatty acids. Anong roles ng fatty acids? To transport transport ADEC, build the adipose tissues, and stimulates the adrenal cortex to release androgen, progesterone, tsaka estrogen. On the other hand, 10% saan napunta? Large intestines, okay, where the bile meets the E. coli to produce vitamin C and K, at sa general circulation, sa eyes, skin, tsaka sa urine, no? So yun yung lahat ng pinupuntahan actually. Okay, ang focal point ng topic ko andito talaga, but walang choice kundi i-discuss lahat ng mga topics about that biliary production, no? However, sa pang-additional note ha, guys, saan napupunta yung 10% nga? Una-una, large intestines. Saan pa? General circulation, eyes, skin, tsaka urine. Anong laman yan? Bile. Anong color niya? Light. Kasi light yellow color. Tanong, okay? Anong organ ang taga-conjugate ng bilirubin? Liver. Ulit, ang organ na taga-conjugate ng bilirubin? Liver. Anong ginagawa niya? Kino-convert yung dark yellow to become light yellow. Again, ang taga-convert is liver. Kino-convert yung dark yellow to become what? Light yellow. Pag nasira ang liver, magkakaroon ng failure of conjugation. Again, okay? Pag nasira ang liver, magkakaroon ng failure of conjugation. What will happen? Okay? Yung dark yellow na yan, sasama sa bile at sasama sa may eyes, skin, tsaka sa urine. Kaya ang taong may hepatitis, liver cirrhosis, yellowish yung eyes, yellowish yung skin, yellowish, dark colored ang urine because of that, na. Kasi hindi siya nag-conjugate from the dark to become light. Like in case of liver failure nga, no? Okay? Yun yung discussion niya. Kaya pag diniscuss yung liver cirrhosis, wag ka na magtaka kung bakit may jaundice, may icterus, tsaka T or cola colored urine yung pasyente kasi nga hindi mag-conjugate yung kanyang bilirubin. Dark siyang inihi actually. Okay? Those are the parts of it. In fact, we are done discussing with the small intestines, no? So again, okay? Ano yung enzymes na yan again? Okay? Are the starchy foods? Sa amylase, okay? Pag peptides, actually enzymes yun, trypsin. Pag lipids, lipase yun. And again, yung triglycerides, kailangan ng bile to be emulsified to become fatty acids. Now, with that, okay? Now, let's discuss the last part of our alimentary tract, ha? Again, mouth to the anus tayo, ha? Kanina, mouth to the stomach. Ngayon, duodenum to the anus ngayon, okay? Whereas, the last part is actually the large intestines. Now, division, cecum, no? Okay, cecum is the first part kung saan nakakonekta yung ileum, yung last part naman ng small intestines. Together they form what we call as the ileocecal junction. So once again, the first part is cecum, kung saan nakakonekta yung ileum, they are known together as the ileocecal junction, no? Therefore, the main part of the intestines is called colon, no? Yung first part, by the way, prior that, before we discuss the colon, okay, yung cecum actually, ito din, connection ng ileum tsaka in large intestines, ito yung cecum, ito yung ileum. Together they form what we call the ileocecal valve, no? Ileocecal junction, sorry. That's ileocecal junction. Ang naghahati sa kanya, ileocecal valve. Okay? Ito siya. So again, this is the ileum. Ito yung small intestines dito. Ito yung cecum. Okay? Na ito meron siyang valve dyan. Actually, okay? By the way, ang food nga pala hanggang dito sa small intestines, food pa rin siya. Paglampas ng valve dito, ang tawag sa kanya feces na. Again, yung food na kinain natin, tatawagin mo siyang food substance hanggang small intestines. Paglampas niya ng tinatawag na ileocecal valve, ang tawag sa kanya feces na, no? Now, bago tayo umakyat sa ascending colon though, again, before we go to the ascending colon, actually, transverse the colon is this part known as the vermiform appendix. Again, bago tayo umakyat sa main part known as the ascending colon, transverse that, sa likod niya, actually, tinatawag na vermiform appendix. Na I've been telling, meron siyang function na, di ba? Ang function na niya, replication site of good bacteria. Part ng immune system siya, no? Okay? So, tingnan natin yung process kanina, yung process ng digestion, no? Tuwan-tawa ako dito, eh. Okay? I don't know kung napansin nyo kanina. Sige, nag-digest yung food, di ba? Nag-digest yung food na yan, okay? Then, nag-masticate dyan, ito yung liver, no? Yung bile, ang taga-store ng bile, gallbladder, ito si pancreas, no? Okay, then nag-flush out, ayun, no? Napunta sa anus, intestines, ayun si appendix, no? Kung di mo napansin, meron dong vermiform appendix, ang cute na sa gilid, no? Okay, nakala mo walang function. So in the older books, actually, in the older thoughts, old sciences, sabi nila walang kwenta ang appendix. They found out, meron palang kwenta siya, no? And what's the purpose of that again? Replication site of good bacteria. Kaya tama si Dr. Shirota, yung imimbento ng Yakult na meron talagang such thing as good bacteria. Okay? And that anyway, so again, as I was saying, so ito yung ating part. So again, we have here the ileocecal junction. Ito yung ileum, paakyat sa may cecum na transverse the cecum. Ito yung transverse the cecum is this part known as the vermiform appendix, na. Okay? Therefore, let's go to the main parts now. Ito, again, yung first part is ascending colon. By the way, ang laman ng colon, feces, no? Okay? Anong purpose na? To absorb water, extra water, and sometimes sodium, no? Again, to absorb extra water and sometimes sodium. With that, okay, ano yung mga parts? Therefore, ang laman na purely feces lang, no? Na ito yung ascending part, ascending colon, actually, this is the ascending colon. Anong nature ng feces dyan? Okay, tinatawag siyang liquid or watery, no? Liquid, kasi kagagaling lang sa mga durug-durugan, eh. Okay, mouth, stomach, and then small intestine, so liquid siya. Pag napunta ng transverse, pag ganyan siya, actually, okay, unti-unti na babawasan siya ng tubig, no? Kasi isang role ng large intestines to absorb water. So again, pag ascending, anong nature niya? Liquid. Pag nagpunta ng transverse part, ano na siya? It's actually mushy or pasty, no? Parang mashed potato. The mushy or pasty. Na habang tumatagal pa, pababa na siya. Descending ngayon, okay, babawasan pa siya ng tubig. So ano na siya? Semi-formed. Semi-formed siya hanggang makaabot ng sigmoid colon. Okay? Ito yung paes na yan, actually, it's what? Formed na yung feces, no? Hanggang makaabot sa may anus, no? At pag sa anus, actually, napuno ng feces yan, nag-activate yung tinatawag na defecation reflex. Again, pag nasa anus, actually, nag-activate yung tinatawag na defecation reflex, no? Okay? It's one of the rare reflexes that we can control. And praise God, we can control it, no? Again, okay, pag napuno ng feces yung anus na yan, yung anal area, nag-stretch siya, nag-activate yung tinatawag na defecation reflex, one of the rare reflexes that we can control, no? Okay? Buti na lang, kaya pa kahit nalalabas na siya, kahit na crowning na, kaya mong pigilan, no? Okay, nabiyahe mo ng 2 hours flight, no? Okay, lalabas na. Kalimutan mo, may CR nga pala sa aeroplano. Okay, blooper, no? Anyway, okay, so yun yung mga parts na actually. Then, of course, evacuation of the feces in normal circumstance. Like, meron kang formed feces, actually, you just need Valsalva maneuver for that, no? Okay, so those are the parts of the alimentary tract 2 from the duodenum to the anus, no? Okay, at that, by the way, yung anus nga pala is highly vascular, no? Kaya pag nasusugat yan, talagang madugo yung anus na yan, no? Okay. Anyway, to move on, let's discuss na the disorders of the small intestines, no? Of the intestines as a whole, I mean. Okay. Intestinal problems. Starting off with the topic of IBDs, no? Inflammatory bowel disorders. Dalawang klaseng IBDs meron tayo. Tinatawag na ulcerative colitis at saka regional enteritis. Mas kilala sa tawag na Crohn's disease. So again, we have two types of IBDs, which are, again, ulcerative colitis at saka regional enteritis, which is actually the Crohn's disease, no? Okay, to ease the topic, actually, para mabawas-bawasan yung ating load ng topic, ginawa ko into table yung dalawa, no? So let's talk about now the IBDs, ulcerative colitis and regional enteritis, no? Na ano exact cause ng pareho? You can answer that. The exact cause is unknown. Okay, sulat ko na, guys, no? Kaya ang exact cause nila pareho, unknown silang pareho. Unknown tsaka unknown sila, okay? Yung parehong exact cause nila, unknown talaga. Predisposing factor though, okay, ng ulcerative colitis actually stress. Stress is a predisposing factor talaga, no? Okay? Trivia, guys, lahat ng ulcerative problem sa katawan, no? Meaning, pati yung PUD, no? PUD, peptic ulcer disease, at ito, ulcerative colitis, lahat yan stress related, no? However, pag Crohn's disease, hereditary siya. Again, hereditary by nature. Okay? At anong lahi ang madalas tamaan ng Crohn's disease? Yung kalahin Dr. Crohn. Yung nakadiscover ng sakit, mga Jewish population. As to whether why, hindi ko rin alam. Hindi ko rin masagot yan. Basta nakalagay sa book, common to Jews or Jewish population. Therefore, kung wala kang lahing Jew, huwag kang mag-alala, no? Hindi ka tatamaan ng sakit na yan. Okay? So, ulitin ko lang. So, again, parehong exact cause is unknown. Predisposing factor actually sa isa is stress. Isa naman, hereditary or genetics. Common to the Jewish population. Anong area affected? For ulcerative colitis, purely large intestines lang. No? Kaya nga nakalagay, colitis colon talaga. Pag regional naman, both large intestines and small intestines. And the most common site is terminal ileum. Ang pinaka-common site ng ating regional enteritis terminal ileum talaga, meaning yung end part talaga, yung pinaka-end ng ileum is called the terminal ileum. So again, before I shift the page, pareho sila, exact cause is unknown. Predisposing factor ng UC, ulcerative colitis is stress, ng RE naman, okay, is hereditary. Ang affected sa UC, large intestines purely, kapag naman RE actually is what is both large and small. Kaya nga siya regional, it affects both region. Okay? And by the way, ang most common site ng Crohn's disease is the terminal ileum. Now, one more. In the meantime, we have here, what are the pathophysiologic changes? Although the exact cause is unknown, may nakikita sa kanya, no? Okay? Unang-una, sa ulcerative colitis, nakikita sa kanya is what? Mucosal ulceration. For unknown reason, nabubutas yung intestines, no? That's mucosal ulceration. Kaya nga, ang classic symptom niya, guys, bloody diarrhea. At medyo matindi, ha? Okay? Kasi kanyang bloody diarrhea, inaabot siya ng 15 to 20 times per day yung kanyang diarrhea. Kaya common complications niya, pwede magkaroon ng hypovolemic shock. Tapos hypovolemic shock, at saka pwede rin siya magkaroon, okay? At saka maramang hemorrhage, no? Check that, sorry. Yun pa yung hypovolemic shock. Hemorrhage leading to hypovolemic shock. And of course, magkakaroon ng blood loss, anemia. Okay, yun yung complication niya. So once again, okay, for some reason nagkakaroon siya ng bloody diarrhea. Gaano katindi? 15 to 20 times per day, daily yan, ha? Okay, and with that, since may diarrhea, can cause hypovolemic shock because of what? Diarrhea itself and the hemorrhage, and of course may cause possible anemia, kung tawagin blood loss anemia. Na pag Crohn's disease naman, ano yung nangyari sa kanya? Nagkaroon ng scar formation, no? Hindi malaman kung bakit may scar formation, no? Formation yung Crohn's kasi nga ano ng cause niya, eh. Na anong classic symptom? Okay, actually is mucoid naman, no? Parang masipon-sipon. Mucoid diarrhea, okay? Actually, and medyo mas lesser frequency kasi 3 to 5 times per day. Ang problema naman dito, obstruction, kasi may scar formation, eh. Kaya na may bloody diarrhea, kaya possible ang hypovolemic shock, possible ang anemia, no? Okay? Ito naman, pwede mabutas yung colon, pwede magkatiyatawag na fistula formation, at saka strictures. Now, the term stricture was actually mentioned in the esophagitis, no? Strictures can lead to severe obstructions, no? Okay? Ano yung fistula? Na pressure na butas. Sige, pakitaan kita ng visuals, no, for that. So again, okay, babalikan ko yung visuals ko to. Ito yung komplikasyon ng Crohn's, no? And Crohn's is regional enteritis. Now, yung normal nasa taas, yung colon niya, no? Normal colon. Now, in the meantime, pag inflammation now, ito na. Nagnanarrow yung daanan. Eventually, nagka-stricture, no? Okay, nagka-stricture siya, walang madaanan yung substance, yung food or fluids, actually, yan, nagka-stricture, obstruction, and with that, nabubutas yung intestines, in that fistula formation. By the way, strictures can lead to what? Can lead to obstruction, where fistula can lead to possible infection. So, let go, guys, okay? Fistula can cause infection, and strictures can lead to obstruction. Again, fistula can lead to infection, strictures can lead to obstruction. By the way, okay, so ano yung mga diagnostics niya na pwedeng gamitin sa kanya, no? Okay, are the following. Alright, diagnostics, mamaya balikan ko lang yung example ng mga procedures na ginagawa. Yung unang-una, barium enema. Yung taas, no? Okay, yung taas is barium enema. Kung mapapansin mo actually, okay, yung kulay white are actually patent areas, no? So the white areas are patent areas. Yung may black, obstructed siya, oh. So, kitang-kita, madaling hanapin yung obstruction sa enema. Kasi nga, okay, yung pagputi, walang problema. When obstructed yan, no? Okay, yung mga itim na part, that means hindi napuntahan nung enema, ano siya, obstructed part, no? By the way, however, ito questionable tong nandito, baka kasi ito, eh. Kasi remember, sa sigmoid area, andyan ang formed feces, no? Pero ito talaga, absolutely. Alam na alam yan actually sa form of obstruction. Kasi dapat dyan, mashy pa lang yung feces. Dapat di pa siya mag-cause ng severe obstruction. Okay, yung discussion actually for that, no? Now, in which case, let's go. Ito pa example na to, no? Okay, ito example ng ulcerative colitis kasi bloody siya, no? Okay, I told you, ang kanyang, asan na yan? Okay, ang kanyang classics actually what? Bloody diarrhea, no? Na ilan? 15 to 20 times daily talaga, no? So, in terms of bleeding, mas malala ang ulcerative colitis. In terms of involvement, saka yung kanyang obstruction, mas malala yung Crohn's disease. Now, by the way, both are IBDs, both are inflammatory bowel disorders. With that, okay, ano yung mga diagnostics being used now? Symptoms muna, symptoms are the following. Unang-una, abdominal distension. Okay, although sabi ko nga, mas matindi yung obstruction ng regional enteritis, pwede pa rin magkaroon obstruction yung ulcerative colitis. Kasi inflammation na ano pa, weakness, syempre, nutritional deficits, as well as fever with leukocytosis. Not to mention, yung symptoms ng dehydration, tsaka symptoms ng anemia, and so on and so forth. Now, diagnostics are the following. Unang-una, barium enema nga. Ma-outline siya, no? Okay? Also, colonoscopy. By the way, yung tinatawag na differential diagnosis, no? Sir, paano malalaman ng doctor kung ano yan, kung regional enteritis yan or Crohn's disease? Pareho lang pala yan. Kung regional enteritis or ulcerative colitis, i-undergo siya ng colonoscopy with biopsy. Ultrasound can help actually. Okay, colonoscopy with biopsy, sisilipin siya, no? Okay, kapag may bleeding sa loob, obviously ano yan, ulcerative siya. Pero kukuha na ng biopsy, i-splice ng konti yung intestines. Pag chinek yan at may scar siya, malamang regional enteritis na. By the way, again, let me amplify. This is the differential diagnosis na. It will differentiate kung ang sakit is actually ulcerative colitis or regional enteritis na. Okay, so let's go and discuss the management now, no? So intervention natin, priority depende. Okay, na pareho silang may diarrhea. So pag may acute attack, okay, again, pag acute attack yan, ang priority restore fluids and electrolytes, no? This kay restore fluids and electrolytes. Pag may acute attack, again, because of those diarrhea and so on, okay, the priority is to restore fluids and electrolytes. However, okay, pag long term siya, pag chronic na siya, chronic actually, the priority is to restore nutrition. Kasi obviously, nutrition will be a serious problem kasi nga hindi mag-absorb yung nutrients at pareho silang may diarrhea, chronic diarrhea. That, in fact, it will lead to different forms of malabsorption syndromes. So again, priority, pag acute attack ng sakit because of diarrhea, restore fluids and electrolytes. Okay, pag chronic naman, restore nutrition. In fact, sa ulcerative colitis, minsan, kailangan i-restore pati blood components. Kasi nagkakaroon nga ng blood loss anemia yung patient. Another one there, administer medications as ordered. Unang-una, antimicrobial, which could serve as either prophylactic. Pwede siyang prophylactic, pwede siyang therapeutic. Serves as either prophylactic or therapeutic by purpose yung ating antimicrobial, no? Okay. Also since meron siyang pain, okay? Ano yung may symptoms kanina? Okay, ayan, okay. Magkakaroon siya ng distension, magkakaspasm yun for sure, no? So, bibigyan siya ngayon ng antispasmodic drugs, no? Okay. Also, again, this is to decrease the pain. Secondary to the distension. Okay, idagdag ko dun kanina, no? Na, pag nagka-distension siya, distension, obviously, meron siyang pain, no? With pain yan. This abdominal distension with pain. Anong klaseng pain? Spastic pain. Sulat ko na nga. Magkakaroon ng spastic pain. Okay? With that, by the way, is that, again, therefore, bakit antimicrobial? Pwedeng prophylactic siya or therapeutic. Why? Infection can aggravate the inflammation. Again, infection can aggravate the inflammation. Kaya binibigyan siya ng antimicrobial na be it what? Prophylactic or therapeutic, no? Okay. Another one, decrease the pain of the patient. Okay, by way of giving what? Antispasmodic drugs. Ang common na binibigay dyan, guys, yung Buscopan, no? A very simple drug but very effective. Buscopan is given. Okay. Also have anti-diarrheal drugs, no? Okay. Malamang yan, mga loperamide, no? Anong purpose yan ngayon? Loperamide is given. Actually, anong purpose yan, by the way? Okay. Is to decrease the diarrhea. Na trivia, syempre, no? Alam natin lahat to. Pag ang pasyente may diarrhea, we don't stop the diarrhea, right? We only replace fluids and electrolytes, okay? Except for these conditions. Diyos ko naman, masyadong matindi to, no? Okay. Ang tindi ng diarrhea, nanabot ng gano'ng karami, isa 15 to 20, isa naman 3 to 5, no? Ikakamatay niya talaga, dehydration. So, kailangan ibigyan siya ng anti-diarrheal to stop the diarrhea. However, PEG is a drug of choice for the disorders. Let me remind you, ang pinag-uusapan natin, IBDs. What are IBDs again? Inflammatory bowel disorders. Again, we're talking about the IBDs, which are the inflammatory bowel disorders. So, ano yung drug of choice is steroids malamang, no? This one is given to decrease inflammation, pegged as the drug of choice for IBDs, no? Okay? Steroids, corticosteroids are the drug of choice for IBDs. In the first place, kaya tinawag siyang most powerful anti-inflammatory drug kasi it can reduce somehow the distension and the inflammation of the patient. Okay? Yun na. So, ano pang management natin? Part pa na, ito na yung diet niya. Diet are the following. Low residue. Obvious, no? Okay? Low residue diet. Why low residue? Kasi nga, residue can contribute to what? Diarrhea. Yun yung low fiber, low residue, no? Another one, lactose-free. Because lactose, those which are found in the milk, can contribute again to diarrhea. As basic as that. Ano pa? Elemental. Ito na, very important. Okay? Pag sinabing elemental diet, high absorbing siya. Unang-una, high caloric pala. Okay? Ang unang content yan, high caloric, fast absorbing. Okay, high caloric na, fast absorbing pa. Kasi ang ayaw mo sa pasyente, by the way, you have to rebuild the body, di ba? Give calories, give nutrients. Kasi isang priority, restore nutrition. Okay? Ngayon, may nakakita ko ng ganyan, no? Ang lit na lata lang, no? Asan na ba yung speaker ko? Okay? Ito speaker to, no? At ito, ipaparaffle ko to. Joke lang. Okay? Speaker to actually. No? Nakakita ko ng drink dati, no? Okay? Na ganyang kaliit yung lata, parang liver spread lang, no? Nung chinek ko, ang liit niya, nung binuksan, para siyang, condensed milk kalapot, no? Na nakalagay, may instruction, drink certain amount of water with it, no? Nung chinek ko yung kanyang label, aba, nasyak ako, no? Bakit alam mo ko ilan? Okay. 1,000 calories yung isang ganyan, no? Kaliit na lata. Paano kaya finitin yung 1,000 dito, no? Okay. Formulation. Right? Okay. Now, in this case, by the way, so para may idea ka lang, ha? Okay. Yung ganyang kaliit, ilang calories na 1,000 calories. Para may idea ka lang, actually, okay. Ang 1 cup ng rice is 200 calories. Again, 1 cup ng rice, 200 calories. Imagine, yung ganyang kaliit na binigay sa amin, kailan ito binigay? Nag-rescue kami dati. Tacloban, no? Okay. Since wala kami makain doon, wala kami makuha ng food, candies hindi kasha, Skyflakes hindi kasha, binigyan kami ng ganyang lata. Inumin daw namin yun for the entire day of energy. True enough, no? Para i-asikasuhin mo na lang yung sakit ng tiyan mo, Skyflakes lang yan, no? Okay. True enough, inom ko yung ganyang kaliit. Okay. Imagine mo, kung 1,000 calories yun, ibig sabihin, kailangan ko mag-bike ng 30 kilometers para masunog siya, no? Okay. Pero in other words, kung mga tao na kailangan ng calorie, importante siya, no? At maliit lang. Ibig sabihin, pag ininom ng pasyente yan, again, pag ininom ng pasyente, mawala yung weakness niya, somehow rebuild yung kanyang nutrition. However, since fast absorbing, walang pupunta sa large intestines, wala siyang feces, so wala magkakos ng obstruction. Okay? Last one here, pag hindi pa rin kaya ng pasyente, TPN if necessary, no? All nutrients will pass through the parenteral route, total parenteral nutrition. Okay? That's actually the two disorders, ulcerative colitis and regional enteritis, which are IBDs, no? Okay? IBDs are inflammatory bowel disorders. So, anong drug of choice nga? Steroids. Don't forget that. It's a common board exam question. Okay? With that, let's talk about more intestinal problems. This time, let's talk about diverticular disorders na. Okay? Now, pag sinabing diverticular, outpouching. Guys, ganito yan, ha? Kasi dalawang klase ng diverticular disorders. Diverticulosis and diverticulitis. Again, dalawang klase ng diverticular disorders. Diverticulitis at saka diverticulosis. Basta ganito. Pag may outpouching ka lang ng large intestines mo, ito, nagkaroon ng bukol-bukol yung large intestines, meron kang diverticula. Anong sakit mo pag may diverticula ka? Diverticulosis lang. Ulitin ko, ha, okay? So again, pag meron kang bukol-bukol sa large intestines mo, meron kang diverticula. Anong sakit yon? It's called diverticulosis. Now, the moment mag-inflame yan, pag yung bukol-bukol, nabahayan ng bacteria. Pag nabahayan ng bacteria yan, tapos nag-inflame siya. Anong sakit mo na? Diverticulitis. Ulitin ko, isa pa. Okay? Pag may bukol-bukol ka lang sa large intestines, anong sakit mo lang? Diverticulosis. Pero since nagkabukol-bukol yan, prone siyang bahayan ng bacteria. Pag nabahayan ng bacteria, ang tawag sa kanya, diverticulitis. So, by sequence of pathophysiology, anong mas nauuna talaga? Diverticulosis. Yun yung nauna. However, okay, anong una na-diagnose? Ang sagot doon, diverticulitis. Alam niyo kung bakit? Because diverticulosis is asymptomatic. Again, basta nagkabukol-bukol, diverticulosis. But di ba diagnose? Kasi asymptomatic. Pag nag-inflame yan, nagkaka-pain and similar symptoms, actually, doon nalalaman meron siyang sakit, doon lang na-diagnose yung patient. No? Again, okay, by pathophysiologic sequence, nauna ang malalaman ang diverticulosis. However, by the diagnosis malamang, nalalaman agad ang diverticulitis. No? Okay? With that, therefore, let's focus on diverticulitis. Kasi nga, wala namang symptoms ng diverticulosis. So, what's that? Inflammation of the diverticula. Ang tinatawag na diverticulitis. No? Okay? With that, anong causes niya? Yung causes niya, though, combination ng litis sa calosis. No? Now, with that, okay? With that, by the way, anong risk pala niya? Anong danger ng diverticulitis? Perforation. Pag nag-perforate yan rather, pwedeng mag-cause ng peritonitis. Now, with that, ano yung possible cause? Una, siyempre chronic constipation, nape-pressure eh. So, known this time kasi mga pressure. Okay? Also, chances from IBDs, no? Yung topic natin sa kanina lang, no? Okay? Yung inflammatory bowel disorders kasi lumalambot or nagkaka-pressure sa loob ng intestines, no? Ano pa? Common in adults. Okay? In fact, mas common sa elderly. Adults actually 60 pataas. No? Why? Adults are more prone to constipation. And the most common site, by the way, saan pinakamatigas ang tae? Sa sigmoid colon, no? Ito yung pinaka-common site, sigmoid colon, is the most common site of this condition. So those are the common site actually. That's etiology and incidence. Again, chronic constipation, kaya common sa adults. No? Chances from IBDs. What are IBDs? Again, inflammatory bowel disorders. Yung topic kanina sa discussion ng small intestines. No? Okay, anong intestines I mean. So isa pa, most common site, sigmoid colon. For the reason that siya yung may pinakamatigas na feces, no? Yung tinatawag na sigmoid colon. Now with that, let's talk about now, okay, ito ba the example ng barium enema, no? Ito example ng barium enema ng taong may diverticulosis. Losis lang to, hindi litis, no? Tingnan mo. Okay? Nagkabukol-bukol na yung kanyang intestines, no? Hindi yan spinal cord. Actually, if you would notice there, yung bukol-bukol na ganyan are actually the different yung losis. Imagine pag ganyan talagang kailangan operahan yung pasyente, no? Okay? Discussion of surgery will be discussed in a while. Now, going which, okay, let's go and discuss the symptoms now of this diverticulitis. No? Again, ang losis walang symptoms, ha? Asymptomatic siya. Now, ano yung symptoms ng diverticulitis? Pain on the left quadrant, crampy by nature. That's pain on the left quadrant, crampy by nature. No? Ano pa? Nausea and vomiting. Ano pa? Intermittent rectal bleeding at nagkakaroon siya na tinatawag na hematochezia. Ano yung hematochezia, guys? Hematochezia is fresh blood in the stool. No? Pag black tarry siya, ang tawag sa kanya melena. Melena ulit. Okay. Pag black tarry ang stool, ang tawag sa kanya melena. Pero pag ano siya, pag red siya talaga. Okay, rectal bleeding, fresh blood in the feces, tinatawag siyang hematochezia. Also have constipation and often nagkakaroon ng fever with leukocytosis, na. Okay, anong diagnostic na mention ko kanina? Barium enema, pwedeng ultrasound, tsaka syempre WBC count, ha? Kasi chinecheck yung kanyang WBC count kasi nagkakaroon siya ng leukocytosis. Okay, symptoms siya ng diverticulitis, na. With that, okay, anong management? So again, meron losis, meron litis. Pag may litis, tinatawag siyang acute attack, no? Na pag may acute attack siya, okay, anong gagawin? Complete bed rest, saka NPO, later on clear liquids. Ang purpose ng tatlong yan, tatlo, they have something in common, is to decrease intestinal motility. Inulit ko yan, ha? Okay, so during acute attack, meaning anong sakit niya? Meron siyang litis, no? Litis siya, that's diverticulitis. Okay, again, during acute attack, okay, ano dapat yung pasyente? Naka-complete bed rest, naka-NPO, later on clear liquids, saka low fiber diet. Anong purpose na nga ulit? Decrease intestinal motility. To decrease intestinal motility. At pag nag-decrease ang intestinal motility, it will prevent what? Okay, movement para maiwasan yung pag-rupture. Kasi remember, pag may litis, anong risk niya? Peritonitis, no? Okay, so complete bed rest, NPO, tsaka low fiber to decrease intestinal motility, preventing any perforation or any rupture, no? Thereby, ang end part niyan is to prevent rupture or perforation. To prevent rupture or perforation. Na ano pa? Meds are given. Ano yung mga yun? Unang-una, analgesics, na. Okay? Kasi may pain, eh. Ano? Crampy pain, no? Okay? Ano pa? We have antibiotics minsan because bacteria can aggravate the infection. And infection can aggravate the inflammation. I mean, no? Once again, infection can aggravate the inflammation. By the way, anong purpose ng antibiotics? Pwedeng prophylactic. Pwede rin siyang therapeutic. So, prophylactic at therapeutic yung kanyang purpose, na. Okay? And the last one, anticholinergics. What for? To decrease intestinal motility. Decrease intestinal motility. Yun nga lang, pag itong binigay, delikado siya for constipation, na. So, ginagamit yan, however, para hindi mag-rupture. Pero again, madalas yan, i-counteract siya to avoid constipation. Okay? Last question. So, again, may diverticulitis. Management are the following. So, ang main goal mo dyan talaga to prevent perforation. Tanong, okay? Pag nawala na yung diverticulitis, may sakit pa rin siya? Yes. Kasi andun pa rin yung bukol-bukol, no? Ang sakit pa rin niya, diverticulosis. Again, okay? Pag nawala na yung litis niya, may sakit pa rin siya? Yes. Okay? Anong sakit niya? Diverticulosis na. So, let's go and discuss now the management of diverticulosis. Pag may losis na, anong goal na ng losis to prevent diverticulitis? Ganun lang siya. Again, pag losis, anong goal? Is to prevent diverticulitis. With that, okay, anong bibigyan? Ito, prophylactic lang siya. Purely prophylactic, antibiotics or antimicrobial disorder, no? Prophylactic by nature lang siya. So kahit walang active infection, this prophylactic, no? Okay? Kahit wala siyang active infection, bibigyan siya ng antimicrobials. So pangalawa, bulk forming laxatives na. What for? To prevent constipation. Okay? Also, high fiber diet. So trivia guys ha. Kanina nung may active inflammation, anong fiber mo? Low fiber. Kasi ayaw mong maggumalaw yung intestines, no? Ito yun, no? Nung may litis siya, low fiber diet. However, this time, nung low cyst na, you wanna avoid constipation, okay, dapat high fiber this time. So don't forget ha, pag litis, low fiber. Pag low cyst, high fiber. And of course, since may outpouching siya, may bukol-bukol, di ba? Eliminate foods with seeds and nuts. Kasi madalasan, okay, yung mga seeds, like yung mga tomatoes, example, kaya yung mga seeds na yan ang pumapasok dun sa may diverticula, no? Sila nakaka-harbor ng bacteria, sila nagkakos ng inflammation, no? Kaya dapat yan eliminate foods with seeds and nuts. Okay? Na part of that, kaya ito very important to guys, no? Encourage fluid intake, no? Bakit? Okay? Para laging ma-flush out, laging malinis yung kanyang large intestines, no? Ang iwasan mo diyan, mag-constipate siya at iwasan mo talagang magkaroon ng maraming contamination yung large intestines. Okay? Ano pa? We have weight reduction if applicable. Why? Increase intra-abdominal pressure can contribute to diverticular formation. Okay? And of course, surgery indicated, colectomy, no? Pag sobrang sira na talaga yung colon, kailangan na ng colectomy. Colectomy with matching what? Siyempre, pag nag-colectomy, i-undergo siya ng colostomy. Kasi pag pinutol yung large intestines, wala na siyang dadaanan yung tae niya, di ba? Ang gagawin, kakabitan ng colostomy para forever na siyang dun tumayo sa kanyang colostomy bag na. Okay? Now, those are the management for diverticular disorders. Okay? Dalawa yan, low cyst tsaka litis. Bakit unang nadadiagnose ng litis? Because diverticulosis is asymptomatic. Okay? That's it. So, next topic tayo, no? Next topic tayo, let's discuss, okay, the topic for appendicitis this time. Ang question, anong role ng appendix nga? Replication site of the good bacteria. Now, okay, so naman niya madalas good bacteria, no? Kaya tama si Dr. Shirota, sabi ko, yung nag-invento ng Yakult na dati pinagtawanan, nabigyan pa ng award ng Nobel, no? Nobel Prize in Medicine. Okay? That, problema lang, pag na-dominate ng bad bacteria, yung good bacteria, at napasok yung appendix, magkakaroon ng appendicitis, is the inflammation of the appendix. Now, may chronic ba? Wala. Bakit? Okay? Kasi ang appendix kapag na-inflame, dalawa lang, either operahan or pumutok siya, no? Again, appendicitis guys, ha? Okay. Ang pag-rupture ng appendix may happen within 24 to 36 hours, no? Have that in mind. So, wala kang makikita halos na chronic appendicitis. Ang meron, acute. Bakit nga? Pag nagka-acute appendicitis, gagawin sa kanya either operahan na or pumutok na yung appendix na. So, either way, hindi magiging chronic ang sakit. Now, with that, the exact cause is unknown. That's unfortunate, no? Okay. We have the etiology. By the way, let me remind you pala na naka-suspend lang yung appendix natin, no? Wala siyang exact location guys, na nakasuspend lang yung appendix. Meaning, okay, ito yung if you recall, ito yung ilium, no? Ito yung secum dito actually, that yung junction, ileocecal junction. Na bago umakyat sa ascending, ito yung appendix, no? Nakahang lang siya. Kaya in the first place, tinawag siyang vermiform. Bakit? Para siyang uod, no? Parang uod yan, na nakandun lang sa may gilid. Okay? Na gumagalaw, parang nagwe-wave siya, parang uod na ganyan, no? Yun yung appendix natin now. Okay? Ano yung mga etiology and incidence niya? Well, okay, the exact cause is unknown. Gusto ko i-amplify na. The exact cause is actually unknown for this condition. Once again, the exact cause is unknown, no? Okay? Unknown siya. By the common, however, to males between 10 to 30 years old, no? Okay? Ayan, kung bakit, well, hindi ko rin alam. Yung nakalagay sa books, eh. Exact cause, however, okay? Ito yung mga predisposing factors. Una-una, fecal impaction. Ano yung tinatawag na fecal impaction? Impacto na feces. Hindi ganun, no? Okay? Ano yung fecal impaction? Tandaan mo, ha? Pag ascending colon dapat, ang nature ng feces dapat is actually what? Watery. Again, pag ascending colon, ang ano dapat yan? Watery, di ba? Ang fecal impaction happens to older people or those who have poor dieting, no? Okay? Mali yung older people. Happens to those who have poor dieting. Yung mga ayaw ng fiber. Kasi ganito, paakyat dapat, I told you, liquid pa lang siya, no? Watery dapat siya. Nangyari is that, okay, mali yung diet niya, ayaw yung kumain ng mga fiber foods, puro karne. Ang nangyari tuloy, okay, imbis na liquid to, imbis na watery yan, nagkakaroon ng maliliit na feces, no? Na matitigas kung tawagin fecalith. Therefore, yung fecalith na yan, are actually what? Hardened feces, no? Tinatawag siyang fecalith. Now, pag yung fecalith na yan, nabuo, dito actually, hindi makakaabot na ascend ang transverse colon. What happens then, naipon yan dyan, since mabigat yan, kasi hardened na, di ba? Pupunta dito sa may secum. Problema, yung maliit na feces na yan, na may bacteria, pwede makapasok sa may appendix. Okay? Pwede mag-cause ng appendicitis. Ang tawag sa kanya, fecal impaction. So, isang factor yan, ha? Fecal impaction. Another one though is actually kinking of the appendix, no? Kaya common sa mga lalaki siguro. Now, okay, I told you nakahang lang siya, di ba? Nakasuspend, no? Alam mo yung mga lalaki na mahilig sa sports na may pivotal movements, no? Like basketball, no? Okay, pag ikot ng katawan na ganyan, nag-twist yung katawan, ayun, nag-kink yung appendix. Could happen actually. Okay, sir, paano yung pagkatapos na kumain, tapos nagtakbo siya? Okay, totoo bang nagkakos sa appendicitis yun? Hindi ko alam, no? Pero wala na akong makita ng logic na magkakos siya ng appendicitis. Siguro lang, pag kumain ka, tapos tumakbo ka, ano mangyari sa'yo? Mapapagod ka, yun lang yun, no? Okay. Pero walang proven na scientific fact yun. Pero ang totoo niyan, okay, yung mga sports like taekwondo, paikot-ikot yung katawan. Pag twist ng katawan na ganyan, pwede mag-kink yung appendix, pwede mag-cause ng appendicitis, no? Okay, isa pa, parasitic invasion. Ito medyo malupit to, no? Nangyari naman yan sa mga 10 years old, mga ganyang edad, no? Kasi ganito, ang bata bago purgahin, no, dapat may fecalysis. Kaya anong common error ng mga magulang is that nakingialam, no? Okay, malaki yung siya ng bata, feeling may bulate. Na anong principle dapat? 1 dose, that's it dapat, no? Sa purga, ha? Okay, ngayon walang fecalysis yung bata, binigyan basta ng pampurga yung bata, no? Anong nangyari? Dapat yan, patayin mo yung mga bulate. Hindi bulabugin, no? Patayin mo sila sa intestines. And by the way, trivia, ang pinakamaraming bulate nasa large intestines. Especially saan? Doon sa ascending colon kasi may nutrients doon. Doon sila nagiging parasites, no? Therefore, ganito. Okay? So, what happened is that binigyan ng kontrabulate yung bata. Binigyan ng latigo, no? Pambaboy yun, no? Binigyan ng Combantrin. Okay? Binigyan ng Combantrin yung bata. Now, what happened is that kulang yung dose. Anong nangyari? Imbis na patayin, nabulabog, no? Ano nangyari dyan? Nung nabulabog sila, these bulates kasi marami, plural, okay? These parasites will migrate to several areas, no? To a point that yung iba, lumalabas to the mouth, no? Minsan, sumuka yung bato, mami, may nahuli. Okay, ganun, no? Kaya minsan sa ears, nagkaka-infection. Yung iba namang maliliit talaga, pumapasok ng appendix, pinakamalapit takbuhan, eh. Again, ang pinakamaraming bulate, ascending colon, watery, eh. May nutrients. So, what happens is that, yung mga bulate, binulabog mo. Kulang kasi, yung dosage ng kontrabulate. Yung ibang bulate, pumasok sa may appendix na ganyan, nag-cause ng appendicitis, na. Yun yung isang possible cause. Kaya kailangan ng fecalysis bago dapat magpurga sa bata, no? Now, another one there, okay, na possible cause, actually ito, infections, be it viral or bacterial, na ang cause niya, ang tinatawag nating acute gastroenteritis, no? Okay, dahil nagkaroon ng infection both stomach tsaka intestines. So, those are the possible predisposing factors. Okay, kami mga bata, nagtae kasi nakakain ng spoiled food, no? Nung pagtae niya, dire-diretso, nagkaroon na ng appendicitis yung bata, no? Infections could be predisposing factor, but still, the exact cause is unknown. Now with that, okay, ano yung ito example na tinanggal na appendix na I told you either mag-rupture yan o operahan siya, di ba? Pag inoperahan, ito yung ng appendix na tinanggal na. Okay? And yan caterpillar na pula, kundi appendix yan na tinanggal na. Now with that, let's talk about the different manifestations. Okay, ito yung mga manifestations of appendix na. So ano yung hallmark niya, guys? Okay? Ang pinaka-hallmark niya is actually abdominal pain. Saan? Saan yung abdominal pain niya? Sa right lower quadrant. Again, pinaka-hallmark niya, abdominal pain, saan yan? Sa right lower quadrant. Kung tawagin, okay, is actually okay, kung tawagin the McBurney's point. Again, it's called the McBurney's point, yung tinatawag right lower quadrant. Yan ang location ng ating appendix talaga. So again, okay, ang pinaka-chief complaint ng pasyente, abdominal pain. Okay, saan nakalocate yan? Sa right lower quadrant, known as McBurney's point. Hindi McBurney's sign, sabi niya sa McBurney's point. Now with that, i-assess yung pasyente. Una-una yung SOAS sign, no? Okay, paano i-elicit yan actually? Sige, saan masakit nga? Right lower quadrant. So gagawin ng doctor, i-flex niya yung right knee towards the abdomen, no? Okay, ang hirap na may demo. So, igaganon niya, ayan basta i-flex niya, igaganon siya, no? Okay, so again, masakit siya, di ba? Yung ginaganon yung paa niya towards yung kanyang, parang knee chest, parang ganun, no? Pero isang side lang. Okay, ginawa yung right lateral hip flexion, no? Lalo nagkaroon ng pain yung pasyente, ang tawag sa kanya SOAS sign. Again, nasan masakit nga? Right lower quadrant. So, ang gagawin ng doctor, i-flex yung right niya towards the abdomen, no? Na pag when the doctor flex the right knee towards the abdomen, para in-knee position yung pasyente, although isang side lang, okay, nagkakos ng more discomfort or pain. So, what is a sign? Okay, more pain, that's more pain. Teka, i-complete ko na nga lang. Okay, so what sign is more pain on right hip flexion. Okay, more pain on right hip flexion. So yun siya. So masakit na. Pag flex siya, actually nagkakos ng more pain. Now, pangalawa, Bloomberg sign. Okay? Pag sinabing Bloomberg sign naman, actually, okay, ito yung classic, no? Okay? Ito yan. Saan masakit nga? Right lower quadrant. Ang gagawin ng doctor, pipigain. Ipipress yung right lower quadrant, no? Pag press sa right lower quadrant, nawawala yung pain. Sabi nila, nawawala or nababawasan yung pain, no? Again, okay? Piness ng doctor yung right lower quadrant. Kung nasa doon yung, it's on the McBurney's point, no? Nung press yung area, nawala yung pain. Ang tawag sa kanya, nawala yung pain muna, sorry. Nung pag tinanggal ng kamay yung doctor, pagtanggal, dumoble yung pain. Ang tawag sa kanya, Bloomberg sign, known as a rebound tenderness. Again, kung known as a rebound tenderness, okay, or rebound pain is actually Bloomberg sign. Isa pa ha, okay. So again, flex yung paa. Flex yung paa towards the knee, nagkaroon ng pain, ang tawag sa kanya, psoas sign. Ngayon, pinalpate yung kanan, nawala. Pagtanggal ng kamay, dumoble yung sakit. Tawag sa kanyang rebound tenderness, the Bloomberg sign. Okay? Also, we have Robsing sign. Ito naman, nasan yung pain nga? Right lower quadrant yung pain. Now, therefore, ang ginawa ng doctor, pinalpate yung left. Lalong sumakit yung right. Again, pag palpate ng left, lalong sumakit yung right. Ang tawag sa kanya, Robsing's sign. Okay? So, what is Robsing's sign again? Palpation. On the LLQ, this left lower quadrant will cause more pain. This will cause more pain on the right lower quadrant. So yun siya, okay? So again, Robsing signs, palpation, the left lower quadrant will cause more pain on the right lower quadrant. So yun yung tatlong signs. Of course, sa tatlo, ang pinaka-indicative mo, yung tinatawag na Bloomberg signs. Again, psoas, more pain on right hip flexion. Bloomberg's rebound tenderness. Robsing's palpation on the left lower quadrant, kaliwa, will cause more pain on the area of pain, the right lower quadrant. Now, we have anorexia as well, nausea and vomiting. Ano pa meron? Low-grade fever, at saka leukocytosis, na. Okay? Now, may mga nakapula. Lagyan ko na number, Bloomberg sign, low-grade fever, leukocytosis. So, what's that again? Bloomberg sign, low-grade fever, at saka leukocytosis. Yung tatlong yan, 1, 2, and 3, are the so-called triad, no? They're the triad of acute appendicitis. Again, tatlong yan naka-enumerate ko actually. Okay? They're called the triad of acute appendicitis, na. Therefore, pag nakita ng doctor yan, so anong laboratory niya? Leukocytosis, no? Minsan ini-ultrasound yung pasyente. Pero usually, laboratory talaga niya is WBC count lang. Kasi pag nakita yung Bloomberg sign, low-grade fever, tsaka leukocytosis, alam na ng doctor, appendicitis ang sakit, na. So, anong management? Okay? Una-una, bed rest, NPO. Anong purpose yan? To avoid rupture. Bed rest, NPO, to avoid the prevent rupture to. Kasi kung galaw yung pasyente, kain ng kain, talagang mag-rupture yung appendix, na. And again, rupture of the appendix can cause peritonitis. Na-avoid HELP. Okay? Ano yung HELP na pinapertain? HELP, no? Where H stands for heat application. Now, heat application. Kasi nga, a heat can cause perforation. Okay? Also, enema. Ano pa? Laxatives. So, avoid yung tatlong yan because all of those three can cause possible what? Possible perforation. Again, still to prevent rupture. Ang purpose pa rin to prevent rupture pa rin siya. Okay? And by the way, the P stands for pain meds, no? Kasi guys, aasa lang tayo sa assessment ng pain, no? Yung Bloomberg sign now, okay? Pag nilagyan mo ng pain med yung pasyente, baka mawala yung pain. Anong problema? Pag nawala ang pain, again, okay? Pag nawala ang pain actually is that, okay, well, hindi mo na alam kung nag-rupture o hindi. Remember that loss of pain may indicate rupture. Dagdag natin, sorry, nakalimutan ko ilagay, no? Okay? Again, so lagay ko lang na additional note dito, guys, baka sakaling makatulong pa ng konti, no? Okay? Na yung dapat pain niya, hindi nawawala, no? Now, pag nagkaroon ng abrupt loss of pain, again, pag nagkaroon ng abrupt loss of pain, may indicate already what? Rupture, no? Kaya nga ayaw mong bigyan ng ayaw mong bigyan ng pain meds yung client kasi pag nawala yung pain niya, ayun, baka pagkama lang nawala na siya kaya baka pagkama lang nag-rupture na siya or baka hindi mo malaman kung nag-rupture na o hindi pa, no? Okay? So yun yung avoid HELP, HELP, heat application, enema, laxatives, saka pain medications, na. Okay? Also, IVF therapy and antibiotic in preparation for surgery. Kasi the ultimate management for that, guys, is appendectomy surgery, no? Okay? Again, the ultimate management for this condition, appendectomy, that's actually surgery. Now with that, let's talk about appendectomy now. Now, ang purpose na again is to avoid rupture, to avoid peritonitis, no? Those are questions, no? Now, anong anesthesia type? Anesthesia type na appendectomy, actually is what? Spinal, no? Spinal anesthesia. At kung naka-spinal A yan, okay, anong position after surgery? Flat on bed. For how long? 6 up to 8 hours. And the purpose of that is to prevent spinal headache. To prevent spinal headache. Ulitin ko isa pa ha. Okay. So again, appendectomy is done to actually avoid peritonitis. And once again, anong anesthesia type? Spinal anesthesia. Now, since spinal A siya, after surgery, anong kailangan daw? Flat on bed for how long? 6 up to 8 hours to prevent spinal headache. Alright, okay. Ano pa? NPO until peristalsis is actually present, no? Question sa board. Okay. What's the best way to assess for peristalsis? Is it A? Dalawang option. Is it A? At apat na options. Sige, I'll ask this question. Okay. What's the best way to assess for peristalsis return? Is it A? The regain of consciousness. B. Resumption of gag reflex. C. Presence of bowel sounds. Or D. The passage of flatus. What's the answer? I'll give you the questions again. Huh? Okay. How do you assess the return of peristalsis? Is it A. Regain of consciousness. B. Resumption of gag reflex. C. Presence of bowel sounds. Or D. Passage of flatus. What's the answer there? Anong sagot doon? The answer will be letter C dapat. The presence of bowel sounds. Okay? Natama yung sinasabi niyong flatus. Kaso flatus is very subjective, no? In fact, ang flatus may be a good indicator na meron ng peristalsis yung pasyente. Again, a flatus is a good indicator na meron ng peristalsis. However, okay, ito yung point. Ang flatus kasi subjective, di ba? Sige, example na lang, okay? Paano malaman umutot na siya? Di aasa ka sa report ng pasyente. Nurse, umutot na ako. Anong gagawin mo? Bigay ka ng food? No. Okay? Sabi ng pasyente, nurse, umutot na ako. Okay? Anong gagawin mo una? Get your stethoscope and assess for bowel sounds. So, kasi dun ka sure na meron siyang bowel sounds. So, ang best yan actually, yung presence talaga ng bowel sounds, na? Na pag walang option na bowel sounds, yun na. Okay? Ang isagot mo yung passage of flatus. Kung marinig mo man, kung tama man yung accurate man yung report ng patient, no? So, again, okay, is the passage, pangalawa lang yung passage of flatus, no? Okay? At ang problema kasi sa flatus na yan, subjective, wala ka namang way para i-assess siya. Unless machambahan mo, no? At wala pa tayong gadget para malamang umutot na yung pasyente. Wala pa naman tayong tinatawag na flatometer, no? Kung meron man ganun, no? Okay? Isa pa, okay? Activities can be resumed in 2 to 4 weeks, but no heavy activity. No heavy activity for 1 year. Kasi pwede bumuka yung sugat niya to avoid dehiscence and evisceration. Okay? Yun siya. Okay? By the way, pag hindi definitive diagnosis, hindi sigurado ang doktor, paano yun, sir? Hindi sure ang doktor na appendicitis talaga. Aagapan yan. Bubuksan pa rin, no? Anong gagawin na? Exploratory laparotomy. Exploratory laparotomy is done pag di sigurado yung kanyang diagnosis. Okay? To bring us to our last topic for GI, no? For GI alimentary tract, no? So, next topic dyan will be the different, hepatobiliary system disorders. Okay? Last topic for alimentary tract, ha? Okay? From mouth to anus tayo. So, last topic na hemorrhoids. Alright? Okay? Anong Tagalog na hemorrhoids? Almoranas. Bisaya? Almoranas. Ilocano? Almoranas. Ano pa? Okay? Kapampangan, Almoranas. Ito lang yung bukod tanging word na alam kong pare-pareho ang mga Pilipino, no? So, pinagbubuklod ng Almoranas ang wikang Pilipino. Lahat kasi yan, Almoranas ang tawag. Okay? So, pag sinabi hemorrhoids, by the way, hemorrhoids actually are dilated blood vessels beneath the lining of the skin in the anal canal, no? So, yung nakaumbok na yan, blood vessel talaga, tumutulak lang yung skin, no? Okay? So, akala ng iba kasi actually, skin lang siya. Ay, babay din, nakaumbok, diba? Akala ng iba, yung nakaumbok actually is yung blood vessel, no? Hindi. May blood vessel sa ilalim. Pag dilate ng blood vessel, tumulak yung skin palabas. So, yung nakaumbok-umbok sa puwet, actually, is the skin talaga, no? Okay? However, may blood vessel sa ilalim yun. Now, types are internal at external. Now, again, types are internal and external. Internal to external. By the way, ang reference point, the anal sphincter, no? Okay? Pag nasa labas ng anal sphincter, external yun. Obviously, pag nasa loob, internal yun, no? Okay? So, nung causes this time, known this time yung cause. At lahat yan, puro pressure. Again, the causes this time are all known, okay? And lahat, I told you, puro pressure siya, no? Like, unang-unang chronic constipation. Now, may pressure ba? Yes. Okay? Especially pag sobrang tigas at pag palagi na lang, no? So, mga elderly are prone to this. Pangalawa, pregnancy. May pressure ba? Yes. Especially during labor and delivery, no? Talagang matinding pressure sa loob na yan, no? Okay? And pangatlo, obesity. May pressure ba? Yes. So, mga matatabang katulad ko, umupo lang ng matagal, mataas na yung pressure. Believe me in that, I know that by experience, no? Okay? Ano pa? Prolonged sitting or even standing. So, sakit ng mga lecturer siguro. Okay? Ano pa? Ito, mahilig magpa-sexy, wearing constricted clothings. Okay? Tsaka yung sakit na liver cirrhosis, saka right-sided heart failure because of backflow of blood. So, yun yung mga types. And by the way, not to mention, ayoko na isulat, baka makita pa ng nanay mo, frequent anal sex. Again, frequent anal sex can also lead to hemorrhoids. So, kasi nape-pressure yung blood vessel ng anus. I told you earlier that the anus are highly vascular by nature. Maraming blood vessel yan, no? Now, with that, okay, let's talk about the diagnostics. Unang-una, proctoscopy. Sige, okay? Pag medyo malalim, pag internal, ginagamitan ng proctoscopy, no? Or anoscopy, sinisilip talaga yung blood vessel kasi hindi mo pwedeng silipin, buksan ta silipin lang basta, no? Okay? Again, for internal type, proctoscopy, anoscopy. Pag mababaw lang naman, pag external, ginagamit yung DRE. Anong DRE? DRE, no? That stands for Digital Rectal Examination, no? This external type. So, ulitin ko, pag internal ang ginagamit, either proctoscopy or anoscopy. Pag naman external, ang ginagamit actually is DRE. What is DRE? Digital Rectal Examination. Now, with that DRE, by the way, anong ginagamit yan? Isang matinding digital camera. Joke lang, syempre, no? Okay. Anong ginagamit dyan sa DRE? Syempre, digits ng kamay, no? Digits na. Anong kailangan? Kailangan mo ng lubricant? Yes. And please, don't forget the gloves. Mamaya, nagpapalpate ka na, no? Okay. Nakalubricant ka na. Ay, walang glass ka na, ha? Nakapag wala na. Okay. And actually, DRE, as external yan. DRE is Digital Rectal Examination. Now, going which, okay, ano yung mga assessment findings for hemorrhoids? First, constipation. Ito yun, guys, no? Kasi may pain, eh. Relevant, no? In the attempt of the person to avoid pain, again, in the attempt of the person to avoid pain, ito nangyayari minsan, okay, hindi siya tumatayo on time. Ang problema nga, isang trabaho ng large intestines is to absorb water, di ba? Pag hindi yan tumatayo on time, tumitigas yung kanyang feces, nagka-constipate. Na ano pa, anal pain. Kasi may umbok dun, eh. May skin, may nerve endings, di ba? Na ano, by the way, okay, pag pinilit tumayo minsan yan, sobrang tigas ng feces, may rectal bleeding. As in, gross bleeding, ha? May pasyente kami dati ganyan, pag tumatay siya, parang may na-abort na baby sa toilet bowl, no? Kasi talagang gross yung bleeding ng pasyente. Ano pa, we have mucus secretion from the anus. With that, yung mucus secretion, meron siyang E. coli doon, no? At pag yung E. coli nasa anal area, nagkaka-severe anal itchiness. In fact, ang madalas complain ng pasyente, hindi naman yung pain, kundi yung itchiness, no? Okay? Itchiness. So, bakit may itchiness? Kasi nga, may mga mucus secretion, may mga E. coli doon, no? Okay, also intestinal fullness. Bakit ganon? Kasi pag may internal hemorrhoids, kahit tumayo yung pasyente, may bukol sa loob, feeling niya may feces pa rin, kaya may intestinal fullness. With that, actually, tae siya ng tae, no? Frequent yung kanyang defecation kasi na-activate yung kanyang defecation reflex, no? Again, okay, may bukol sa loob, tumae siya, may meron pa rin. Ganyan din yung may mga cancer, di ba? Mga intestinal cancer, parang natatay lagi kasi lagi may content yung kanilang intestines, no? Na again, ang chief complaint niya, hindi pain kasi masakit lang pagtatay. Ang complaint talaga niya, anal itchiness. With that, kaya minsan kinakamot nila, nagkakasugat-sugat, no? Okay. With that discussion, therefore, ano yung management? Aggressive dapat to avoid constipation. So, una-una, high fiber diet and liberal fluid intake. Na ano pa? Okay. Ayun na, by the way, as well as bulk laxatives, no? So, ang purpose nun, guys, is to prevent constipation. The purpose is to prevent constipation. Okay? Also, we have hot sitz bath and warm compress. Anong purpose naman yan? Sige, okay? Ginagamit lang to actually. By the way, idagdag ko agad, baka makalimutan ko, ha? Dapat yan, not more than 15 minutes lang. Bakit? Okay? Kasi pag nag more than 15 minutes, lalong magdadilate yung blood vessels, lalong lalaki yung hemorrhoids, no? Again, okay? Pag more than 15 minutes, lalong magdadilate yung blood vessels, lalong lalaki yung hemorrhoids. Kaya limit that into 15 minutes or less. Hot sitz bath yan, no? Okay? Also, warm compress, I mean, no? And by the way, okay, anong purpose yan? Remember, ano yung chief complaint nga niya? Hindi pain, kundi ano nga? Itchiness, no? At anong cause ng itchiness na yan? Yung E. coli na nasa anal area. So, E. coli is destroyed by heat, no? So, pag makate, i-warm compress yan or sitz bath, okay, para matanggal yung itchiness niya. Also, anesthetic application, kung talagang masakit actually bago tumae, pwedeng apply ng Novocaine, no? Is a local anesthetic to avoid pain during defecation. Now, however, these things can only warrant you temporary relief. Pinakamaganda, surgery. Options are either sclerotherapy, yung skin na ganyan, ininjikan ng phenol, no? Ito yung mismo ito rin yung panggamot ng varicose veins, no? Na by the way, hemorrhoids is a form of varicosity. Malaki lang masyado, no? Okay. Ito yung hemorrhoid, halimbawa, ininjikan ng phenol in oil, nagdry siya. Cryosurgery, ginagamitin ng freezing ng liquid nitrogen. Ano pa, rubber band ligation. However, these three can only be used for external hemorrhoids, no? Kasi mahirap spray ng liquid nitrogen pag internal. Kasi ang cryosurgery, they use liquid nitrogen, no? Which means, itong hemorrhoid, if i-freeze yung hemorrhoid na pag frozen siya, tinatanggal ng doctor yan. Okay? So ngayon, pag tinanggal, may bleeding ba? Wala. So again naka-witness ako ng ganyan, cryosurgery, hemorrhoids mismo, no? Okay? Malaking hemorrhoid niya, anong ginawa ng doctor? Walang anesthesia. Ang ginawa niya is that inispray ng liquid nitrogen, no? Okay? Sabi ng pasyente, parang medyo mahapde, pero hindi masakit, no? Nung frozen ng hemorrhoid na ganyan, syempre, any tissue, flesh, or kahit karne, basta frozen, malutong. Nung malutong na yung hemorrhoid, ang ginawa ng doctor, talagang ginano lang niya yung hemorrhoid, tanggal na, no? Na-expose yung blood vessels, may pain ba? Wala, kasi naka-freeze, eh. Na-expose yung blood vessels na ganyan, okay? Na may bleeding ba? Wala din. Kasi nga, naka-frozen siya, di ba? So, ang ginawa ng doctor after that, okay, pag nawala yung freezing, for sure, magbe-bleed, no? So, kinauthorize na agad yung mga blood vessel. Pag nawala yung freezing, wala ring bleeding, no? So, it's a bloodless surgery. So, kahit blood vessel pa yung involved dyan, it's a bloodless surgery, no? Okay? Now, yung rubber band ligation naman, they put a very fine rubber band. Saan? Sa ilalim, no? Kaya itong hemorrhoid, lalagyan ng rubber band sa ilalim na, ito, masakit to. Okay? Kaya frequently, the client will have to take analgesics to avoid pain actually, no? Okay? Hanggang eventually matanggal yung hemorrhoid. And last one there, kailangan buksan yung puwet, tanggalin yung hemorrhoid, hemorrhoidectomy, no? Okay? Those are the surgery